Welcome back to the channel. And tonight we're going to unbox an old car. It's not quite a classic. It's not quite vintage. 2007 was 17 years ago when this car came out. The Sportwerks was a brand, a house brand of Horizon Hobby, I do believe. They had some nitro cars, electric cars, but this was an oddball. It's a 14th scale touring car. So let's crack into it and see what we got. Alright guys, this is one of the cars that was donated to the channel. And we are going to re-gift this car to my buddy Chris that donated a few cars for us to run. This is not a ready-to-run car. It's just a rolling chassis, but it is the Pro version. It is a limited edition, I guess, David Splashette edition. He was a pretty famous road course racer back in the day. I don't know if he still races or not, but he was back in the day. First thing in the box, we got a car. We got a roller. So let's crack that open, and I'm not going to bore you with the box, so we'll crack that open and get the car out here. Alright, we got her unzip tied from the box, and first impressions, reminds me a lot of a little TC4. It's got shaft drive. It has a slipper clutch incorporated into the shaft drive, which is really cool. Aluminum motor mount. You've got a little backbone and a lower chassis brace that ties into the front, along with the upper deck. The upper deck's really thin, so it probably doesn't provide a ton of stiffness, but that bottom would make up the difference. That aluminum plate comes out pretty far, the motor mount does, which would be good for heat dissipation, because back then this car was probably ran with a brush motor. Got battery slots for NiCads. It does have a vacuum formed battery tray that protects the batteries from grounding out on the chassis. You also have your little ridges that would be turned over, obviously, to hold the battery in place. And you got you got 7 battery cells, so you might run 7 cell if it's modified. If you ran 6, you got a little bit of wiggle room for weight adjustment. Little rack steering that has 0 play in it whatsoever, which is really nice. Oil-filled shocks. They've been in that box for 17 years and are not leaked out because the box is still completely dry. And there is oil in them. They feel like they're dampening. You kind of hear it a little bit. Front and rear springs are different. That must be a lighter spring, but it has more coils. And then you got a heavier wire in the front with the less coils in it. And you got threaded shock bodies. Foam bumper, typical touring car stuff. Just at a glance, it looks like the gearboxes or the diff covers are all universal, like you can go end to end. So parts availability, I guess back in the day, would be a little bit easier on the manufacturer because they'd have just one set of boxes and one set of arms. No sway bars. I don't think it would really need it. It might. Let's take a wheel off and see what kind of drive system it got. I don't know if it's got a hex or what's going on in here. Nope, that is not a hex. It has like a diamond shape. So that is a very unique wheel. I don't know any other car that has that. Kind of reminds me of the Schumacher drive. The Schumacher has that little castle nut thing, or castle drive. It looks like it's going to be a little tricky to get the wheel back on, because the wheel is going to go down inside the wheel bearing and ride on the wheel. The bearing's going to be on the wheel, so I guess that's good for support. But also might be a little tricky to get everything to line back up. There it went. That wasn't too bad. I don't know how limited edition this car was, being the special edition with all the hop-ups on it. I really don't know a lot about this car. I just know from what I've seen, 2007. We ran HPI RS4 minis or micros back in the day, and they were like in between this. They were a lot smaller. These cars did come out afterwards. It's kind of an odd size. It's not an M chassis. It's quite a bit smaller than an M. It's bigger than an 18th. So I don't think very many other manufacturers made a car like this, because X-Ray made an 18 scale. Micro RS4. Duratrax had a knockoff of a Micro RS4. And this one kind of fits in the middle. It's still a little bit longer wheelbase than some of the 18R associated cars back in the day. And the wheels are maybe about the same, maybe a little bit smaller. Definitely narrower. So it's a very unique car, which it's going to be a pretty cool little shelf queen, I believe, because I'll be scared to run it. But yeah, it does have ball diffs on both ends, along with the slipper in the middle. So stripping gears is probably not a big deal because the really only thing you got, you do have a ring and pinion, but you have just a spur gear and a ring and pinion, then it goes into that ball diff. So very simplified drivetrain, very efficient, I imagine. Zero slop in the steering, and yeah. All right, let's see what else we got in here. We got the body out. The body, I don't know if it's licensed or not, but it looks like the Mazda Speed that Protoform made. It looks like a mini version of it. It's already pre-cut, pre-mounted. I don't like the fact that it has an antenna hole, but back then we did probably run more antennas or aerials. Let's see how well it's mounted here. It looks like it's mounted really good. It's a little bit high. You got a little bit of chassis exposed right here, but that's not a problem. We still got plenty of holes. It's got holes all the way down to the bumper. So probably drop about 2 holes in the front, maybe 1 in the back, to get it looking like it does on the box. Because on the box there's no gap between the wheels and the body, and that's easy enough to fix. That's just drop a few holes. The wing's already mounted. It does have overspray film on it. It's a very shiny overspray film. And the wing does have 3 positions, just like a Protoform body did back in the day. So you can adjust your downforce. You can move it forward or back. It's in the neutral position in the middle. Very cool, very cool. Took a lot of the tedious parts of ruining a one-of-one body, because I don't know where you would find another one of these bodies. I don't think Blue Groove or anybody makes a repop of this, being such an odd-sized car. So thank goodness they did go ahead and mount it, and it's mounted correctly. So that took that factor out. So now we just got to paint it. But anyway, let's see what else we got in the box. We got a decal set, and there you go. There's your Mazda grill. It's not a generic grill. It actually has the Mazda logo on it. Got your headlights, taillights, grill, lower grill. You got another Mazda emblem for the rear. You got your marker lights. Might be a fog light or a backup light. You got your Splashette edition. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but it's got the commemorative decals that match his name, and the white ones have it all in there also. You got number plates and numbers, and everything's pre-cut, which is very cool. Got your window mask for the body. Random clips for shocks, which you don't need because this is the, I guess it would be like a team edition. It's got threaded shock body, so you don't need those. There is a toe link or a toe, I'm not sure what you call that, but it's a rear toe adjustment. It's probably either, I think it's probably 0 or maybe, because it looks like it's got about 2 degrees, maybe 3 degrees of rear toe. So I don't know, I can't see any numbers on it in the bag. If it's a 0 or if it has a specific, I don't see a number on it at all. But there may be something in the instructions. We got 2 of them here. One might be for the front. We got servo mounts. We got front uprights, which may be plus or minus on the caster. I'm not sure. Have to look at the instructions. And a couple other little odds and ends in here. Shock pistons. Those are some tiny shock pistons. I don't want to open this bag up because we're not going to use any of this anytime soon. We're not putting a radio in it today. Servo saver. Their 4-way wrench is made out of plastic. And yeah, I think most of the bag's taken up with those clips that we're not going to use. You got your antenna tube that would run back in the day. The old corner marshal nose tickler. And see what else we got here. We got a wrench. We got a camber wrench because it does have turnbuckles. That is a metal wrench. We got a spring that looks like a replacement for the slipper clutch. And there's a set screw for maybe a pinion gear, I'm not sure, or the out drives or the drive cups. For the probably the center drive has a set screw in it. We got the side panels for the rear wing. That's really cool, and it's got double-sided tape in the bag. This thing looks practically brand new. I mean, it is practically brand new, but it's 17 years old. Assembly and operations manual. Basically, the basic tools you're going to need. How to set your slipper clutch. How to set your gear mesh. And yeah, it looks like they got a brush motor in the instructions. How to set your toe and your camber. Build your shocks. There's an exploded view of the shocks. Part numbers. Exploded view of the car. Body mounts. The instructions are very basic, but probably easy enough if you had to service it. Yeah, that's just all it is. It's just not really a step-by-step instructions. It's more of a exploded view with all the part numbers. So if anything, you got part numbers that you could research and possibly find if you were to run this thing. And there's your notes if you're tuning it and making it go fast. All right, as for the paint job, it reminds me of something that Andy Jacobson would do or has done. I don't know if Andy painted this body back in the day, the real 10 scale version, but it does look like it's got the telltale signs of an Andy paint job, and I think we can mimic that if he wants to do that. I'll go over with Chris and see if he wants to do the custom box art paint job. It does have painted headlights and grille. We can do that. That adds to the difficulty quite a bit. But the rest of it is very simple layout. So we may do that, but not in this episode. You'll have to come back to see a paint video. We are behind on a couple projects. That's why we're doing an unboxing tonight. We have to get a giveaway body done for the Poor Boys RC Speedrun Challenge this year. We are custom painting a body, an Escort body, and we're going to give that away. I'm not sure how they're going to give it away exactly, but we're going to ship that out to whoever does win it. And we got to make another speed run before Friday. I got a new body for my car I need to put on and test with. And yeah, we got a lot going on. We got kits to build. I want to thank our friend from Florida for sending us these cars again. Still can't believe we got them, and very cool. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that little unboxing video. It wasn't much, but we have been doing some cleaning around the shop, so I'll take you out there in the paint area and show you what we've got going on. We freed up some space, got rid of some clutter. It was getting a little on my nerves, and a clean workspace is definitely easier on the mind and helps with the creativity, I do believe. All right, guys, let's head out into the paint shop. And if you're new here, welcome to my mess. And if you're a returning viewer, you'll notice we made some changes. And let's go check out our new, not new, but our cleaned up paint space. There's our wall of bodies, gained a few more. Just making space, didn't want to throw them away. Now if you notice, there's a table missing. That cabinet was on that wall. I had thought about one time taking this wall out and just eliminating that room altogether and making that the filming area. But that little box does make it a little bit easier in the wintertime to heat. But what I am thinking about doing, since we retired the plotter, since my other computer died, and that plotter is probably, I don't know, about 14 years old, thinking about sheetrocking this wall and setting a table this way so I can get a better camera angle when we're filming a build instead of having the camera behind me or beside me, because the way these workbenches are set up in this shop, I don't have a good angle for a camera. And my museum here got a little jostled around trying to move that cabinet by myself last night. So I need to go and clean that up. Some of y'all might be interested in that one day, some vintage oval stuff from the 80s. My slash I need to paint. I didn't do any videos on the slash. It's the 4x4 Ultimate. Just put some low C Baja Ray tires, J Concept wheels, and a shreddy Volkswagen looking body on it. So that will be a future paint job. We rearranged the bodies a little bit, or the cars in here a little bit. Not really, just kind of moved one from one slot to the other. We do have lights in here, if you're new here. I did a rig rundown on every one of these. Go back and check those old videos. There's the beach truck. It's going to get a revitalization. As much as I like its body, it's just too big. So we're going to put a different body on it. The mini truck, that was a hit. I hadn't took it out in a while. We might go to another show here before too long, and we'll take it out. And yeah, here's our old but new paint area. Got more lights. There's your giveaway body that's got to be painted. Moved the paint over here. It's a little close to the door. I'm a little bit worried about that in the wintertime because it doesn't get super cold here, but it does get cold sometimes. So I got all this area now. I got enough light because I am kind of half blind. I can see a little bit better in this area. I did have my paint table set up right here, as you can tell by the paint in the floor. And I do have an overhead light, but it's not real close. And this is definitely going to help me be able to see and do some designs and cut stuff. So yeah, we put our little airbrush holder over here, within reach, but out of the way. So I can reach over from the stool to paint. There's my super famous trash can. It's going to be a piece of art one day. But yeah, that's the new and improved, slightly cleaner work spot. And poor truck's not getting a lot of love. I did order a new gas door clicker for it because it finally broke. So that's coming. Yeah, there's vintage Google. One day we'll go through these magazines. They're from, I think the oldest one's in '87, and it was the original magazine that I bought when I was a kid, and all the way up through the early 2000s. And kind of in between, there was a gap. There was a gap when I was really into my full size stuff, and RC magazines kind of didn't quite get resubscribed to a few years. That's a whole nother day. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that little behind the scenes footage. That's kind of what we do on our members channel. Well, it's not a channel. It's just a members section of the channel. If you are a member, well, I'll give you some exclusive, maybe 2 or 3 videos a month, kind of behind the scenes of what's going on, what we got planned, a little bit of heads up on what's coming in the future videos. And we do re-release, or not re-release. I keep seeing these cars and thinking re-release. We will release the current videos a little bit early to members only. The members button is just below my name on the channel, but you will not see that on an Apple. You'll have to go to a desktop version to see it, and I think you can see it on Android. But if you click on that, that helps support the channel. That helps support finishing these cars and some of the races and events and stuff that we're going to do this year. Still got a lot to do, even though summer is wrapping up. We still got a lot planned for the next few months. A vintage race or 2. So stay tuned for that. We got plenty of paint videos coming. We're going to do this box art. I need to paint my speed car. And most importantly, before the end of the week, I need to paint the giveaway body for the Poor Boys YouTube channel Speedrun Challenge. And I want to thank Phil for putting that on, and I'm glad to be a part of it because that has really helped the channel quite a bit. And I think it helps the hobby. Like I said, it's good for the hobby. It's a very positive kind of situation we got going. It's fun. It's not a super serious car, obviously. So tune in for the speedrun videos if you haven't already. But anyways, I appreciate you coming along. Appreciate all the new viewers. Like I said, if you want to be a member, click the membership button. We'll get you some exclusive content there. And we'll see you next time. We'll be back Sunday, or maybe actually we'll be back Friday, hopefully with a speed run. But yeah, we'll see you then. Thanks.